The scandal we started. They say every scandal begins with a secret, but in Rosaline Vega's case it began with a kiss, one she never meant to give and certainly not to him. The gala's chandelier light was still trembling when she stumbled out onto the balcony, breath sharp, heart louder than the orchestra inside. She could taste the mistake on her lips, warm and electric. Behind her, the silk curtains fluttered like gossip waiting to happen. Rosaline, a voice called, his voice. Adrian Locke. Her fiancé's oldest friend. The man she'd sworn she would never get close to. The man she had just kissed as if he were oxygen. She turned, expecting shame to drown her. Instead, she found hunger in his eyes. Dangerous hunger. The kind that ruins families, fortunes, and futures. You can't pretend it didn't happen, Adrian said, stepping forward. I can, she whispered, though she already knew she wouldn't. Inside the ballroom, her fiancé, devoted, brilliant, beautifully oblivious, lifted his glass in a toast to the future. To her. To the life she was about to shatter. Her skin prickled as Adrian reached for her wrist. The moment his fingers brushed her pulse, she realized something horrifying. She hadn't kissed the wrong man by accident. She'd chosen him. And someone had seen them. A soft click, camera shutter, echoed from the shadows of the balcony. Rosaline froze, every bone turning to ice. Adrian stiffened. Who's there? The curtains swayed, but no one answered. Rosaline's stomach dropped as she imagined tomorrow's headlines. Her family's reputation crumbling. Her engagement dissolving like sugar in boiling water. Yet beneath the panic, a single treacherous truth throbbed. Part of her wanted the world to burn. Rosaline's pulse hammered as she pushed back into the gala, forcing herself to smile, to glide, to pretend. Crystal laughter filled the room, but it all sounded brittle, as if everyone already knew what she'd done. Her fiancé spotted her instantly. Ethan Hale always did. He had a way of reading her from across a crowded room, as if her face spoke a language only he understood. Except tonight she was fluent in lies. Where'd you disappear to? Ethan asked, pressing a gentle kiss to her temple. He smelled like cedar and promises kept. Everything Adrian was not, and everything she should have wanted. She managed a soft laugh. Just needed some air. His eyes softened with worry. You've been overwhelmed lately. After the wedding, everything will settle. I promise. Promise. The word scraped against her. Adrian entered the ballroom behind her. Eyes locked on her like a secret he planned to unwrap again. Rosaline's breath hitched. Ethan didn't notice, but someone else did. Her stepsister, Serena. Serena lounged near the champagne tower in a gown that shimmered like a threat. Unlike Rosaline, Serena loved chaos the way others love jewelry. She wore it, flaunted it, collected it. And the look she gave Rosaline now was not merely curious. It was predatory. She beckoned Rosaline with a single manicured finger. Ethan was dragged away by donors, leaving Rosaline exposed. She approached Serena as if walking to the edge of a cliff. You look flushed, Serena purred. That balcony must be very stimulating. Rosaline's blood iced. What do you mean? Serena tilted her head. I saw you. A cold wave slammed through Rosaline. You didn't. Oh, darling. Serena's smile sharpened. I saw everything. Rosaline's stomach nodded. Serena, please. Oh, don't plead yet, Serena whispered. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. Leak it. Trade it. Use it to set this whole perfect little engagement on fire. She circled Rosaline like a shark tasting blood. But I'm not the only one who saw. Rosaline's breath caught. Someone else. Serena nodded toward Adrian. Him. Obviously. And one more person you really won't want knowing. Rosaline's throat constricted. Ethan? Serena smirked as if reading her mind. Not Ethan. Someone worse. Before Rosaline could respond, a hand brushed her lower back, Adrian's. Rosaline, he murmured, voice low enough to be a sin. We need to talk. Serena's smile widened. Oh, yes. You three definitely do. It hit Rosaline then. The triangle wasn't just between her, Adrian, and Ethan. There was a fourth edge forming. Someone lurking. Watching. Waiting. And whatever they wanted, it was going to hurt. Serena had always believed people were most honest when they were breaking. And tonight, Rosaline was splintering beautifully. From the balcony shadows, Serena had watched the kiss unfold. Slow, breathless, forbidden. A kiss full of the kind of hunger Rosaline had always pretended she didn't feel. The perfect sister, the obedient daughter. The woman destined for a respectable marriage. How boring. Serena sipped her champagne, its bubbles cracking like sparks against her tongue. She didn't care about Adrian. She didn't care about Ethan. What thrilled her was the fracture. The secret hole ripped straight through Rosaline's perfect life. A hole Serena could widen. Rosaline was loved. Worst of all, genuinely. Ethan adored her with that earnest, loyal intensity that made Serena's teeth ache. The sweet kind of devotion Serena had never been offered. Adrian, on the other hand, his desire was different, dark, impulsive, reckless. He wanted Rosaline like she was a door he'd been forbidden to open. And now she'd opened it for him. Delicious. Serena leaned against a marble column, watching Rosaline with predatory calm. Adrian hovered nearby, restless and taut like a storm waiting to break. Ethan talked with donors, oblivious, but Serena could feel an impending collapse vibrating in the air, humming like the low note of a violin. She toyed with the dangling crystal of her earring and considered her next move. She could tell Ethan. The image alone, his heartbreak, sent a satisfying chill through her. But no. Too easy. Too fast. Serena wanted something slower, more exquisite. She wanted Rosaline to feel the consequences crawl up her spine inch by inch. Besides, Serena had her own reasons. Her gaze slid to the corner of the ballroom where a woman lingered. Mirage black dress, camera at her hip, expression unreadable. A journalist. A known one. A dangerous one. And the journalist had seen the kiss too. Serena smiled. Let everyone think a simple love triangle was unfolding. Let them believe it was a predictable story, girl torn between two men. But Serena knew better. This wasn't a triangle. It was a web. And she was the one spinning it. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A message from an unknown number. I have the photo. We need to talk. L. Serena's smile sharpened. Perfect. She slipped her phone away and watched Rosaline across the room. Pale and tense, eyes flicking between Ethan and Adrian like she was trapped between two flames. Serena lifted her glass slightly, toasting her from afar. Let's see how well you burn, sister. The first rule of journalism, at least the kind Lila Ward practiced, was simple. Never intervene. Influence. Lila stood near the ballroom's farthest wall, half hidden behind a cascade of golden drapes, camera dangling at her hip like a concealed blade. She had been assigned to cover the gala's charity auction, but she found charity dull and rich people predictable. Until 15 minutes ago. Until Rosaline Vega kissed Adrian Locke, like she had forgotten the meaning of consequences. Lila reviewed the photo on her camera for the 7th time. Not blurry. Not ambiguous. Not even slightly deniable. Their silhouettes framed by the balcony light. His hand in her hair. Her fingers curled into his lapel. Perfect ruin. She glanced across the room. Rosaline was doing an admirable job pretending she wasn't falling apart. Lila almost admired her composure. Almost. Adrian looked less controlled. His gaze orbiting Rosaline with the desperation of a man who'd already decided he wanted more. And Ethan Hale, poor man, he was smiling. Lila lowered her camera. This story wasn't just good. It was combustible. She checked the text thread again. Unknown number. I have the photo. We need to talk. L. The message from Serena. Lila had known the Vega sisters since they were teenagers. She had gone to school with them for one awkward year before her family's finances collapsed like a wet card house. Rosaline had been sweet. Serena had been observant. And observant girls grew up into dangerous women. 2 minutes later, Lila saw Serena separating from the crowd, gliding along the edge of the ballroom like she owned the oxygen in it. Every step was calculated. Every glance sharpened. Serena paused beside her. Lila, she murmured, voice as smooth as poured velvet. You look busy tonight. Lila kept her eyes on the crowd. Busy is good. Busy, Serena repeated, is profitable. Lila didn't respond, but the corner of her mouth twitched. Serena noticed. Let's not waste time, Serena said. You have something I want. And I know things you might want. Lila shifted her camera against her hip. What exactly do you think I want? Serena leaned in, her perfume cutting through the gala's floral haze. You want the full story. Not just a kiss. Not just a photo. You want the why. Lila's pulse flickered. 'Cause Serena was right. The kiss was only the surface. A spark. But scandals weren't made of sparks. They were made of dry tinder beneath them. Lila finally met her gaze. Talk. Serena smiled like a woman about to open a door no one would be able to close again. It starts with a secret. One Rosaline never told her fiancé. One that Adrian knows. One that could destroy all three of them. Lila lifted her camera, heartbeat steadying into focus mode. Betrayal. Secrets. Power. This wasn't just a story. It was a storm. And Lila was going to be the one holding the lightning rod. Serena didn't reveal the secret right away. She let it simmer between them as she led Lila into a quieter hallway outside the ballroom. The noise fading until only the muffled hum of music remained. The corridor smelled faintly of old books and polished stone. Perfect for conspiracies. Lila folded her arms. Start talking. Serena's smile was slow, deliberate. Rosaline's engagement to Ethan? It was never supposed to happen. Lila raised a brow. She didn't choose him? Oh, she chose him, Serena said. But not because she loved him. Lila waited. Serena stepped closer. Rosaline was in love with Adrian first. Not just a harmless crush, in love. The kind that rearranges a girl's entire life. Lila blinked. Adrian and Rosaline were together? No, Serena said. That's the tragedy. Rosaline wanted him and Adrian, well, he wanted her too. Everyone knew. Everyone except Ethan. So what stopped them? Serena's expression darkened. Our mother. Lila frowned. What does she have to do with this? Serena let out a soft, humorless laugh. Everything. My mother believes in marriage the way generals believe in war. Strategically, bloodily, and for victory alone. Adrian's family was sinking financially. Ethan's family was thriving. The choice was obvious. Lila's breath tightened. She forced Rosaline to break things off with Adrian. She forced Rosaline to pretend nothing had ever happened. Serena's voice sharpened. Adrian tried to fight for her. He came to our house that night. I heard every word. She paused, letting the moment breathe. He begged her. Choose me. Just say it. And Rosaline, she didn't. Or couldn't. Same result. Lila's mind raced. So she pushed Adrian away and agreed to marry Ethan. Exactly. Adrian left heartbroken. Ethan proposed 2 months later. And Rosaline, perfect, dutiful Rosaline, said yes. Lila narrowed her eyes. If that happened years ago, why does it matter now? Why does a kiss tonight mean anything more than a moment of stupidity? Serena tilted her head, a predator scenting blood. Because Rosaline didn't move on. Lila froze. Serena's voice dropped to a whisper. She's been writing to Adrian for months. Private messages. Late-night calls. Deleted logs. All behind Ethan's back. Lila's stomach flipped. And here's the part you'll really enjoy, Serena said, stepping back with a triumphant gleam. Rosaline wasn't dragged onto that balcony tonight. She led Adrian there. A long silence stretched between them. That kiss, Serena murmured, wasn't a mistake. It was the truth finally slipping through her lies. Lila inhaled slowly, the weight of the revelation sinking into her bones. This wasn't simply infidelity. It was a buried history resurfacing. A choice postponed. Promise broken twice. A love triangle sharpened into a blade. And you, Lila said quietly, want me to publish this? Serena smiled, bright and ruthless. I want Rosaline to stop pretending she's innocent. And I want the world to see what happens when someone tries to outrun the person they really love. Lila hesitated, then asked, and what do you get out of this? Serena's smile faded, her expression cooling into something raw. Rosaline gets everything, she whispered. The engagement. The sympathy. The affection. The attention. She lifted her chin. I'm tired of being the one in the shadows. In that moment, Lila understood. Serena didn't want to expose a scandal. She wanted to be at the center of it. Lila returned to the ballroom alone. But the room felt different now, too bright, too loud, too fragile. The chandeliers looked like they were holding their breath, waiting for her next move. Her camera, suddenly heavy, slapped softly against her hip each time she walked. Rosaline stood near Ethan again, smiling at him with all the trembling sweetness of a woman trying to hold together a life built on half-truths. Adrian hovered at a distance, gaze glued to her every shift, every laugh, every step. Serena drifted among the guests as if she hadn't just detonated a bomb in the hallway. Lila's fingers brushed the camera lens. The photo inside it wasn't just evidence, it was a fuse. The story Serena had given her was explosive. Careers could collapse. Families could fracture. Reputations could go up in smoke with a single article. But this scandal wasn't simple. It wasn't clean. And for the first time in a long time, Lila felt something she hadn't expected. Hesitation. Lila Ward didn't hesitate. She wrote. She published. She let the truth scorch whoever stood too close to it. But this wasn't just power. This was people. People she had once known. People who, in their own complicated ways, had once been kind to her. She slid behind a marble pillar and pulled out her phone. One message from her editor glowed on the screen. "You're quiet. Too quiet. What have you found?" Lila hovered over the reply button. If she sent the photo, the article would be drafted before sunrise. Her career would spike, front page, national coverage, the kind of story that made journalists winners or enemies. Ethan Hale would wake up to heartbreak that would knock the breath out of him. Adrian Locke would be painted as a reckless homewrecker. Rosaline Vega, golden, graceful, beloved Rosaline, would become a scandal headline instead of a bride. And Serena would get exactly what she wanted. A catastrophe she could tiptoe away from while everyone else burned. Lila exhaled sharply. Then a thought crept in, a dangerous, disloyal thought. What if Serena wasn't telling the whole truth? What if there was more? Because there always was. Lila watched Rosaline from across the room. There was panic in her posture, yes, but something else too. Something that didn't fit the narrative Serena had spun like a thread around Lila's throat. And if there was one thing Lila hated, it was being manipulated. Her phone buzzed again. "Editor. Ward? Send me something." Lila turned her camera on, but not to publish. To document. She began taking photos. Ethan laughing, Rosaline's forced smile, Adrian's aching stare, Serena's calculated poise, capturing the way tension stretched invisibly across the room like piano wire. She wouldn't publish the kiss. Not yet. Not until she had the whole truth, not a curated version fed to her by someone with an agenda. Serena wanted a story. Lila wanted the truth. And truth meant digging. It meant talking to Adrian. It meant getting Rosaline alone. It meant finding out why Serena sent that message in the first place, and what she was afraid of. Lila put away her phone and lifted her camera with new resolve. She wasn't publishing anything tonight. But someone in this room was lying. And she was going to expose the right person. Even if it meant blowing up the triangle and everyone inside it. Serena woke before dawn. She always did. Her mind never slept easily. But this morning she woke with anticipation buzzing under her skin. A sweet and vicious current. She reached for her phone. Refreshed the news. Refreshed again. Nothing. No headline. No photo. No scandal. Her smile fell in slow motion. She checked the gossip columns, the tabloids, the underground blogs that posted stories before editors had their coffee. Still nothing. A cold, razor-thin irritation slid beneath her ribs. Lila should have published by now. Serena sat up in bed, the silk sheets whispering against her legs like they were afraid of her mood. She replayed Lila's expression from last night. Focused, calculating, hungry. The kind of hunger that usually ended careers. So why had she hesitated? Serena texted her. "You're late. Where's the article?" She tossed the phone aside and paced through her bedroom, past the vanity overflowing with perfumes and jewelry. Her trophies, her armor. She paused before the mirror and studied herself, as if her reflection might offer an answer. Her phone chimed. She snatched it up. "Lila. I'm not publishing. Not yet." The words hit Serena like a slap. "Not yet." Serena typed fast, fingers sharp against the screen. "What do you mean, not yet?" "You have everything. Run the story." Lila's reply was maddeningly calm. "Lila, I'm not running half a story. I want the full truth. Don't contact me again unless you have more." Serena's breath stopped. It wasn't that Lila refused. It was why she refused. Not enough truth. Not enough leverage. Not enough Serena. Serena threw her phone onto the bed. It landed face down, as if even it wanted distance from her. She clenched her hands until her nails left crescents in her palms. This was not how things were supposed to go. She had fed Lila a perfect scandal. Rosaline's secret love for Adrian, the late-night calls, the balcony kiss witnessed by her own camera. Any journalist worth her press badge would have ignited that story immediately. Instead, Lila dared to question her. A knocking sound jolted Serena from her thoughts. Her mother's voice, sharp and polished, floated through the door. "Serena? Breakfast." Perfect timing. The one person who made Serena feel smaller than her own shadow. "Coming," she snapped. She dressed quickly, black silk blouse, fitted trousers, a look sharp enough to wound, and headed downstairs, schooling her face back into its serene mask. Her mother sat at the head of the table, reading a financial report. Ethan sat beside her, sipping coffee like the world wasn't tilting beneath his feet. Rosaline arrived last, eyes puffy, hands trembling slightly as she reached for her tea. Serena watched her sister closely. Rosaline wasn't just shaken. She was terrified. Good, Serena thought. Let her sweat. Let her break a little. But then Rosaline looked up, just for a second, and Serena saw something unexpected in her eyes. Resolve. A flicker of strength. It irritated Serena more than fear would have. Rosaline shouldn't look brave. Rosaline shouldn't feel brave. Rosaline should be begging. Serena realized then, Lila's refusal wasn't merely inconvenient. It was dangerous. Because if Lila wasn't publishing the story today, she might uncover the one thing Serena had worked her entire life to hide. Her own motive. Her own secret. Her own stake in Rosaline's downfall. And if Lila found that, Serena wouldn't just lose control of the narrative. She'd lose the power she'd spent years gathering. She excused herself from the table with a bright, brittle smile. As soon as she reached the privacy of the hallway, she leaned against the wall, inhaling sharply, calculating. If Lila wanted more truth, Serena would have to give her more. Or destroy her before she found it herself. Either option was fine. Because Serena Vega had never once lost a game she intended to win.